Hello, I would like to talk about the curio meta because this is something that's actually evolved a pretty good amount. So, max health is out and toughness is in. That's basically the biggest shakeup. The reason we used to pick health was because fire. You could never tell if your teammate was going to blow up a barrel on you or if a bomber was going to throw at one of your teammates, which meant it was really impossible to keep track of exactly where fire was going to come from and how far it was going to reach, which could instantly strip your toughness, which meant your health was really vulnerable. So, going all in on toughness used to be a pretty bad idea. It was very volatile. It either paid off huge dividends or got you killed, and there really wasn't much in between. But now, the only thing that you have to worry about is a sniper and a poxburster, and assuming you don't have gold toughness. I would like to think my videos had some part in the absolute dominance of people bringing things like Shout or Zealot Book that can provide gold toughness now. So, usually when I play, there's always at least some form of it going around. Stamina is very good. It's outside of the scope of this video to talk about, so I'll be making videos specifically talking about it, but you will get a little taste of that later in the video when I talk about the effectiveness of some of these nodes down here. Wounds are pretty bad. So the thing with wounds is, let's say you're playing Maelstrom. If you're playing Maelstrom and you go down, 9 times out of 10 you're just going to die. You're just going to die. If you can be revived in the first place, guess what? It really wasn't a serious situation, and it was silly that you got down in the first place. But the upside of that means you're probably not going to get down again and you'll make it to the next Medicaid. If you take 2 silly downs in a row, you're either just having an off day or you're inexperienced on the difficulty and you're just going through an adjustment period. Taking more wounds and just trying to spend more time on the floor is not going to help you make that adjustment. You just have to tough it out and push through. And the wounds also have this other issue that they're only doing something when you are at your absolute worst. And all they really do is extend the suffering, really, by giving you even less health to work with than you had before. If you've already gone down twice in rapid succession, I'm sorry, but another shot with like 30 total health is not going to help you. You would use this for like Martynon though. So let's talk about these minor nodes. Combat ability regen. I'm really happy to see people have taken my message on this one, and I'm starting to see it absolutely everywhere, even other YouTubers' guides. People who previously used to write it off. 12% faster ultimate is huge. And knowing that you're getting your ultimate back so much faster, combined with every class's other ultimate restoring nodes, a lot of people are feeling a lot more comfortable just pressing the button anytime combat starts, which is wonderful. It is exactly what you want to have happen. You want to use your ultimate near on cooldown. If there is an active fight happening and your ultimate is available, not using it just means missing out on chances to use it in the future. The ABCs of MMOs: always be casting. This lets you cast more and more frequently. This is amazing. It is the only thing in the game that I think should be on every single build, no exceptions. You should run 3 combat ability regen all of the time, and anyone who tells you otherwise is just a silly Billy. They are just an inexperienced, silly Billy, and that's really all I have to say about it. Oh yeah, toughness, max stamina is generally the meta go-to. Though some people will argue for toughness, especially on a class like Psyker, mostly because of the one use peril to block skill, which it's not invalid. Invalid. I just think stamina is more situationally better in more times than just having another 17% toughness. Experience is a joke. If 20% health isn't enough to make you want to run it, then 5%'s never going to be enough. Although on the flip side, 5% toughness, talk about a freaking glow up. This thing is so good now for the same reason that toughness is so good. Oh, something I also forgot to mention, toughness can have damage reduction applied to it. Every single class in the game can get at least 50% toughness damage reduction. Virtually no class can get any form of health damage reduction, which means having more toughness means more of a number, like a larger number that can receive a percent reduced damage to it, which ends up giving you huge returns in your effective HP. It's also far easier to get toughness back. And if you are going to run a max stamina curio, Running 3 of these makes up for that toughness curio that you're giving up. So if you're the kind of person who says, I really want to run triple toughness, try running toughness, toughness, stamina, but running triple 5% toughness to make up for it. You'll have the same toughness you used to have, just with the ability to use stamina to your benefit. I'm just asking you to at least try it. See if you like it or not. Ordo Dockets is a joke. Revive speed is like... I have seen a lot of people talk about using this because this is one of the only perks that is active. And something I forgot to mention, combat ability regen is good because it's active. It benefits you actively, like, doing things. You use your ultimate on cooldown. This cools it down faster. You can use more of them. Most of these are passive benefits, like, if you never lose health, why do you need more of it, you know? Revive speed is one of the only other active things. So a lot of people are saying it's they like it because they can actually feel it. The problem with this, let's say 4 people go down in an auric maelstrom and you revive 2 of them. This is only active when someone is downed. You have taken yourself out of the fight to revive that person. It takes like 7 seconds to revive someone. With 3 of these, it takes like 5.5 seconds or 5 seconds or something. So that means in a 30-minute mission, you received a benefit for 10 seconds. Let's say all 4 people are using this in place of combat ability regen. What is more impactful, do you think? People being able to say you shout an extra time during that fight, or a book zealot using the book, or like a psyker using venting shriek and knocking everything over? If everyone uses combat ability regen instead, they can use ults more, and even just one crowd control ultimate getting used on that fight that you otherwise wouldn't have used because you have this extra regen is going to be leagues more effective for your team's defense than reviving someone faster. Because on Maelstrom, maybe there's a boss modifier, so there's a boss on the map, there's a wave of specialists, and there's a wave of trash mobs that also has crushers and maulers interspersed in it. If someone goes down there, I'm sorry, but you're just not reviving them, like, at all, unless you get a really lucky window. And if you do get a lucky window, the amount of times you get a lucky window that would have been a successful revive with this perk, but wasn't because you didn't have it, is very, 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 very slim. So this is, like, only going to be good in, like, 1 out of 100 revives in 1 out of 100 games. It's just, I understand why you want to use this, but it's just not impactful, especially compared to some of the other stuff you'll see later on. This is a joke, and this is a joke. Unless you're doing the penance for this, there's no real reason to be picking these up, which means there's no reason to have corruption resistance. Well, with this freaking stat had a glow up as well. So, Tox Bombers are a problem. They are very aggravating. And normal bombers, because they don't strip your toughness immediately, guess what? Since they don't immediately take your toughness, which before used to be effectively one big tick of like 200 damage that you just couldn't do anything about, and now they only tick at like 10, 20 damage at a time, damage resistance on them actually reduces damage. Because before, you couldn't really reduce any damage, they just instantly took all your toughness, which they can't anymore. Gunners is a gigantic noob trap. So if you're running this, I totally understand why. However, let me show you my perspective, because from mine and many other high-level player perspectives, this is a totally dead stat, and there's no reason to ever really be using it. So, let me spawn a gunner, and let me just show you something that's going to blow your mind. As long as you're sliding, you can't take gunshot damage. Even if you slide into them. Even if you have -4 dodges like that. This is so good, in fact, let me spawn 7 gunners. So as you can see, I'm literally not doing anything. I'm not fighting back. I'm not running towards them to get them to stop shooting. I'm not running to cover. I have no teammates. Yet I can still effectively, with no gunner resistance, infinitely circle 7 gunners and not even lose my toughness. Let me spawn like 7 gunners, but let me actually try to like do something. Well, I just run towards them. You need to stop shooting because I'm close to you. AI, please work as intended. But look, you know, and if they start shooting me, I can just do this and go back to it. It doesn't matter if they run away. I know that wasn't the greatest example. You'll have to forgive me. I'm very rusty. But, I mean, you can still see. You can see the potential here, right? How if you get really good at this, there's no reason to be using this whatsoever. Snipers are the exact same way, except snipers pose even less of a threat. Imagine this guy's a sniper. And imagine I'm fighting a horde here. Well, I can just see, oh, his laser's locked onto me. Okay, there, I dodged him. Now that I dodged him, that's it. The threat's gone. So I don't have to worry about it for a while. I can go back to whatever, you know, whatever stuff I'm doing over here. And then, oh, I see the sniper laser again. Let me stop everything. Look at the sniper laser. Okay, dodge. Now we go back. Also, the thing with gunners is positioning. So I totally understand the perspective of a newer player where you and your team are around a corner here, you're in a room, you run out, you do like this, and then you dash, and oh no, there's like 8 gunners there, they shred you, you think the only thing you can do is sprint back, and you die like 3 times over. I totally understand that. But let me just create that situation real quick, just to show you. So let's say we're out here, and oh no, there's gunners. What do? Well, we just dodge, slide, dodge, slide, dodge, slide, dodge, slide. And hey, that is a very realistic situation that will happen in real games to you. And even with no gunner resistance, look, I only lost what? Like 50%, no, not even close to 50%, I'm sorry. Like 30% of my toughness from just being right here and running, how far is that? 20 meters in the open with no cover or teammates or anything. With 8 gunners just wailing on me, and I only lost, like, 50 toughness? Yeah, this stat is very dead. Mutants, half the time they grab you, they don't even deal damage, they just throw you away. And Poxhounds, if a Poxhound is dealing significant damage to you, that's because your teammates can't get it off you. It's very rare in Maelstrom for pubs to just be completely oblivious to their teammates. Although I'm sure some of you will disagree with that one. But it is. Most people recognize you're dogged. They just can't really stop to do anything about it. Don't get dogged, bozo, you know? Tox Flamers are another thing that this might actually provide some value at some point, but you really just need to understand how to fight them. So, at the end of the day, if a Flamer is starting to spool up, that is because they know for a fact their flames are going to reach you. So if your back's against the wall and you hear a Flamer start to spool up, there is no little movement you can do to get away from them. I have a video on this, but they like literally spawn flames underneath you in a line. It's not like you'd expect a flamethrower where it like gradually grows up towards you. No, if they're spooling up and that you see the flames leave the gun, fire is about to spawn underneath your feet from you to them instantly. So, if you hear them spool up and your back's against the wall, you have exactly one option. Sprint at them. That is your literal only option. You're either going to die because you can't push through the horde and you just get overwhelmed, or you die to standing in the fire and trying to fight in it. Either way, that option at least gives you a chance. Block efficiency is a god-like clutch stat. So let me showcase this real quick. I am not using any block efficiency on these curios, as you can see. Now, let me grab these guys. So, look at this. Let's say you're fighting a horde, right? Let's say there is like a bunch of poxwalkers here. I'm just using ragers as an example. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ragers. Or, I'm sorry, 5. And look, boom. Destroyed. Absolutely obliterated because I tried blocking for a second. When people tell you blocking is bad, this is the reason why. Now let me show you what triple block efficiency is like with 1 stamina curio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, this is 5 again. But as you can see, I can hold on for much longer. Way, way, way longer I can just stand there. Now, sometimes you do just need to block. Remember our sniper friend from before? Well, you can't actively be doing only fighting. You have to block to mentally adjust to the sniper, to dodge it, to then go back to fighting. If you're in a clutch situation, watch like soloists and stuff. watch solos or duos. You'll see plenty of times where people will try to maneuver, and then as they have to make a clutch little maneuver here, like let's say this is a wall that we can't pass, there's a horde right there. So sometimes, you know, we have our back to the wall right here. Let's say this is the wall. Let's say the horde is right here and the wall is right there. Okay? Well, now we just have to hold block as we try to push our way through this wall until we get all this open area. Now we can go back to fighting. In situations like that, block efficiency is godlike. Stamina regeneration is another surprisingly godlike thing. So let me put triple stamina regeneration on just to show you what this is like. So I'm going to sprint with the bolter to run out of stamina. Now watch how fast I get my stamina back. Also, real quick, TLDR, you see how much slower I'm sprinting? You run, I think it's like 50% slower without stamina, which means the horde can actually catch up to you and outrun you. But look, boom, give me all that stamina back. With this much stamina and this much regeneration, you can now sprint effectively unlimitedly and get it all back. Which means you can sprint to a fight and have it for the fight. So this isn't the worst role in the game anymore, now that corruption damage is a little more common, but it's still really bad. If you're taking a substantial amount of this, there's field improv on the veteran, there's health stims, there's Medicaid, there's so many ways to directly counter corruption resistance. I would actually say that this perk has probably honestly gotten a little bit worse over time. This is a complete joke, and I'm glad my video had an influence on this because I don't see anyone recommending it anymore. This sounds really good. 30% regeneration speed, then you look at all of this stuff that you think it's going to affect, you know, like, you think it would affect something like this. But no, it doesn't. All that affects is coherency regeneration, which is a flat number. If you're wondering, for coherency stamina regeneration, it's like 7, dude. So this just makes it go up to like 12 if you run 3 of these. It's effectively like one of the worst rolls in the game, but if you don't fully understand how it works, it actually sounds like it's one of the best. Sprint efficiency is an interesting one, so hold on. Let me just show you real quick what sprint efficiency is like. So we've got, hold on, create a new loadout. So look, triple sprint efficiency, look at how little stamina this is consuming. So remember, stamina lets you block, it lets you outrun the horde, which just running away from the horde and looping it in a better position. If you want to know why you're dying so much in Maelstrom, yet people like me are able to solo entire events even without stealth, stamina is a huge part of why. Because what we do is we recognize, hey, I can just run from like here, you know, go down these stairs, go up these stairs, and I can just make this loop forever. So as long as I'm faster than the horde, I can infinitely kite them backwards. As long as I make sure I don't get hit by a disabler. Now, let me show you what, you know, life could be a dream if we have no sprint efficiency at all. So, this is what we can do with no sprint efficiency. And mind you, this is still with a stamina curio. If we do this same thing with no sprint efficiency and no stamina curio, Now look at this, you know, and let's take stamina regeneration off. Okay, now let's use this. So, look at how quickly we run out. Look at this. This is garbage. Let's say there's a pack of crushers right here. There is a horde you have no chance of fighting. You have to run away. Okay, well, you run back, and you run, what, like 20 meters? And it's like, boom, you're out, you know? We were a little closer because we put that like 4 meters in front of us. But you're just completely out. And now, like, you can't block, you know, if you run back and there's like stuff coming in over here that you have to block for a second, you can't do that. Your stamina takes a much longer to come back. It just leaves you without many options. So, I think some variation of curios like this is probably the best. Maybe you drop one of these for block efficiency. Generally, you always want CDR. You can't go wrong with toughness. And anything that gives you sprint efficiency or stamina regen, if you feel like you're going to have to clutch block efficiency, you can't really go wrong with any mixture of this stuff.